So I am working on a blueprint for Kennedy to try to win the election. And I honestly think if the blueprint is followed, he can. Like, basically, how to win an election is movement building. And it's never been easier to build a movement than ever. I want to go on Google Google Trends, and see Andrew Tate, how quickly he went from not being searched at all to the most searched person in the planet. Obviously destroyed by the establishment because he didn't represent real good things. But what he did was undeniable. For some reason it searched Mumbai rains, which we're in Mumbai right now and it's raining. And we're gonna go worldwide. So boom. March, May, June, July, 4 months, almost peaked his power. So that is how quick today you can go from being a nothing, a nobody, completely not known, to the most searched person on the planet. 4 months. And that's actually how long there is, roughly, to get RFK that big. So the time is now. So I was writing down all my ideas, and basically why presidencies don't look at what Andrew Tate did and say, why don't I follow that script to go viral, is insane to me. But it's boomers. It's ran by boomers. The marketing's ran by boomers. They're having a little bit of taste of young people to make good videos, but the videos are so segmented. There's no real movement. Online, there's ways to hack and to tell a story that's a movement. So I have a bunch of different notes. Like, one is just how this can actually be done. Then the next is what can be done with a voice of the people. So first off, let's say the start of this whole mechanism is to have Kennedy, first, like Babe Ruth, call the shot, is to say, here's how we're going to actually win the election. Because that is the prior to people believing in the movement, that the movement can even happen. So it's to take the blueprint and to just speak it. Say, here is how we're going to win. You tell the blueprint to the world, you say what you're going to do, and then you follow it and you keep it entertaining. At the very least, making that claim and saying how and giving a legible pathway to its success is initial belief. All that you're trying to do to win is instill belief. It's not that anybody actually doesn't want RFK or an independent to defeat the two-party system. That's actually, from an American point of view, an amazing thing. It's just impossible. That's the viewpoint. The viewpoint is that it's a fake vote, that the vote doesn't matter to that you're stealing away from the main election. Basically, we have a defeatist mentality that the war cannot be won. And that comes down to no one has ever instilled enough belief. No one has built the social movement. But Andrew Tate, with a lot less funding, with a lot less smart people, with a lot less garnered support for a lot less cool mission, got enough traction. If RFK gets Andrew Tate traction, he can and will win the election. So how do we do that? First off, the internet is entirely based on engagement. How much does someone follow the next video to the next video? Which comes down to how much do they care about the story or think the story is good. So a president actually has a massive capability to break the typical sort of view of the institutional person and to become the creator, to merge with the culture of today. And for example, we have this guy Phidias. He said, day one of staying outside Twitter until I hug Elon Musk. And this is a way you hack the algorithm. You tell a story. The story has a direct ending that's exciting, and it has a daily update towards the story. We're hardwired for stories. So if Kennedy does some accounts where he says, day one of posting a Kennedy meme until 1 billion people see my memes, see my GIFs. Well, that sounds crazy. It sounds like too many views, but that's something that I can make sure happens. I have the power to control the GIFs and the memes. That's a key part of this. The next is, what are those key policies that are actually unifying policies? Basically, America views the government and all the political leaders as senseless because they're always focusing on the divide. That's what the two-party system is built to do, is to divide the actual thoughts, is to focus on the controversial issues. What are the non-controversial issues? One of the biggest ones is transparent spending. We've spent enough money to solve the homeless problem. We've spent gargantuan amounts on mega projects that are not effective. And why is the problem? What is the problem? It's just corruption. It's because the spending isn't being spent resourcefully. And so that's a clear place to put a flag to say, let's try to fix that problem. To heal the divide, we need to focus on the invisible common sense fixes to our world. So another one of those is, we have the term doom scrolling. Our culture has created that. And the government wants to ban TikTok. And that's a part of the solution. But what we need is to educate the world on how to have good mental health practices and to build an application that isn't designed to extract from the end user, but to inspire people and give them value. I've built this technology, another thing I can deliver as a solution that's salient for the world, that a running president would speak to the collective cultural understanding that we're fucking up society a bit with these engagement algorithms, that mental health is a massive problem today, and that the banning TikTok isn't gonna fix the underlying problem. Can we speak to the systemic issue and bring the systemic solution rather than trying to cut one head off of the hydra? And basically what I'm gonna do is take these thoughts, write my formulated script. We're gonna film a video, which is gonna be my campaign to help the campaign. And I don't think it's hard to basically rise above the current political debate and just go towards salient solutions that are smart, cool, just down to earth, and a refreshment to the American public. And they go, huh, that's a really good idea. You know, like, there's these invisible solutions that we've stopped talking about. Prison reform is definitely one of them. And what's the most salient, easy solution? We will give free AI therapists to all prisoners because it's actually about rehabilitation. And you know what can be done is, even prior to the election, I'm sure with the social movement, you can get a partnership from some device company who will gift their devices, their phone brand, and some prison. This can initially be launched to show that speed of execution in the real world is something that hasn't been done. And that is something which falls in line with the value that this campaign will bring, which is that, imagine this election is not won and the gunning is for 2028. What is done in the meantime? It should just still be trying to fix the problems of America. If you show yourself as a problem solver, not being president, basically be the CEO of philanthropy, the CEO of charity, the most effective source of charitable good in the world, and then you imagine the budget of hundreds of billions of dollars coming to that regime and that organization, everyone will have hope and belief that we can truly conquer a lot of the failure modes which need to be conquered. I think one of the cool things that can be done, the eagle is the American bird. It is the animal of our country, and it is an independent bird. It represents individual strength and these sorts of things. And I think a donkey or an elephant versus an eagle, the eagle's obviously the sickest that there is. Even a phoenix, which I think a phoenix and an eagle are quite similar. You know, this idea of rising from the ashes could be a play. But I think basically get the people involved. One of the best way to build a movement is for people to feel like they have ownership and that they're a part of it. And so we feel like we've lost voting power. The people feel like they don't have a voice. If we can show initial signs of doing that voice, of actually having a communication channel, a bridge between the president or the upcoming president and the people, that feels powerful. Why not have the people submit the actual designs, suggestions, and do public polls. Have people vote on what they want the campaign logo to be. This can be a part of just the think different kind of coordination that creators do. All these creators really use their fan bases. They engage with the fan bases. There's so much to learn from the creator economy. These are the media institutions of today. Legacy media has died. The creator economy is in full swing. Mr. Beast is the largest media institution in the world today. If Mr. Beast supports the campaign at all, besides getting hyper affiliated, which can happen, that's massive. And you know how Mr. Beast will do that? He'll do it once it's cool, once it's a trend with the other creators, once RFK embodies the essence of a creator himself and essentially goes public, you know? Go on Twitch, do a live stream, tell all the people while this movement is forming, hey, let's go post GIFs and memes on this guy's page. Let's go create social change and impact. Let's create the narrative of independence and make it happen. Let's do things like have RFK going out and giving food to the homeless like creators often do. But then, while he's doing it, say, this isn't gonna solve the problem. The problem happens from our government. And what I want to do is fix when we give money to solve problems like homelessness, that there is at least transparency to hold people accountable on how that money is spent, and a public bidding platform for people to push their solutions at the resourceful level. So many people want to help end homelessness. We all see that, just like I'm here doing that. But the funds of the taxpayer money isn't even connected to the people. We can change that. There's enough money that has been spent on solving homelessness to solve it. But the problem is corruption. Oh my God. You literally will speak to the soul of every human. There's no person that's gonna hear that, see that video, and not go, holy shit, we have a presidential candidate who actually gets it, who actually fundamentally is speaking to the systemic problems and supporting the right solution. This rises above the divide. If we want to heal the divide, we don't even integrate ourselves with the discussion of the left and the right, of the topics that are divisive. Let's focus on the topics that are unifying, the topics that are just salient. Why don't we do that? A lot of these topics have become not even talked about anymore because they've lost their steam. It's like the spark of the idealist young person. It's like we have more Musk-type energy in our youth than we do after people go through schools. Our institutions should promote Elon Musk-type energy, should promote innovation, should promote dreaming. But the dreaming happens in the youth and gets killed through the institutions. Because once you get battered enough with the fear or the ideas that you can't change things and that these are how things are, rather than viewing our knowledge of the world as a ambiguous set of here's how we think the world works, here's what we're doing today, and we leave the essence of you are a part of it and we can change things. So one of the other things that I think is worth talking about, potentially with that same homeless problem, is one of the biggest obvious things to do in the world for charity, for philanthropy, in my opinion, is speak to the failure mode of our elite class and the poverty around the world. There's a viral trend going around right now which plays the Hunger Games theme song, and it shows the rich, affluent, crazy dresses that have been designed, and then it shows the homeless shelters and all these things, and it says, are we the capital? Wait a second, are we the capital? And so this is a viral trend right now, and it's worth coming with that, with the solution. What is the solution? Well, status today, what the capital thinks is great. The richest man in the world, Bernard Arnault, Louis Vuitton, Prada, etc. These are creating the richest man in the world, and they are how do people waste money? Celebrities. How do we shift celebrities to promote real status? of philanthropy, of doing good, and shift hundreds of billions of dollars into charitable causes. Because outside of this movement that RFK can push for the independent party, really, what the movement is to build a better world. Going to be president is just a faculty to help make that happen. It's just a leverage point. But if we're showing that we're doing those leverage points outside of having the presidency, that's what shows this guy should be president. It's obvious. Look at all the good work he's already doing. He's not a politician. So day one, Kennedy says, day one of showing my team building designer charity brands until we shift a majority of vanity spending for status on real spending for status. If a penny saved is a penny earned, a Louis bag is a home burned. We're building bags that when bought, build a house. Boom. Another insanely salient mission type thing. Another channel that should be done. Again, these are 5-minute clips that are just posted and they build the social movement. Is day one of showing the best RFK edit that was submitted until we win the presidency. There's a great flag post, and that gets all the clippers. That was the way that Andrew Tate became so massive, was having people edit for him. Become the face of the internet. We can make you the face of Giphy. To become the face of the internet, we just need channels that are movements of their own, that plant a salient flag of a systemic solution for the world. And then everyone goes, we have the perfect candidate. Our perfect candidate, I am a part of making him massive. And then we take this and we go and you collab with bigger and bigger creators. The creators are the media institutions of the world. I know the guy who ran Hype House. Just imagine. And it won't be that hard once the movement is going, because people want to be involved with the President of the United States. People want to be involved with the guy who should be the President of the United States. Massive. This Hype House page hasn't been posted on in 67 weeks. They stopped it. If we come in, the Hype House is the cultural icon for Gen Z. That is it. Then what it means is if RFK restarts the Hype House and has a weekly tea party where people spill the tea. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a reference to the Boston Tea Party from the American Revolution, and it's a joke version, and people will love that. This is the revolution. Everyone wants to be a revolutionary. And you bring in thought leaders, and you say, whoever submits the best ideas on how we can solve problems in America comes and gives the talk at the tea party that week. Sunday tea party. I was very surprised running a content house in LA how easy it was. You know, I started the intramural league of all the content houses. Here's all the most famous new people in the world, and I'm bringing them all together just to play sports. True influence. That's where it lands today. And I had no type of big mission and none of these solutions to the world problems at the time. And so now I see the capability to take these ideas, to take the understanding of these social movements, where me and a friend helped someone go from 0 to 5 million followers in a month, and to witness this for RFK on the political stage will bring the flood to the two-party system so we can rise above. Because rising tides makes all ships float higher. One actual final thing, something I just saw right before while he was setting up these mics. So I think some higher power is looking after this, looking after the algorithms which run our world, and saying this must happen. It's an email chain between Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel. That was part of one of the court cases he was in, so it was released to the public. It says, Peter, thanks for writing this all out and helping us articulate this. Peter and I have had a number of conversations about what we expect the world to look like in 2030, so we can plan and position our future work accordingly. Our theme we've discussed is that many important institutions in our society, education, healthcare, housing, efforts to combat climate change, are still run primarily by boomers in ways that transfer a lot of value from younger generations to boomers themselves. Our macro prediction for the next decade is that we expect this dynamic to shift very rapidly as more millennials and Gen Zers can now vote, and as the boomer generation starts to shrink. By the end of this decade, we expect more of these institutions to be run by and for the benefit of millennials and younger generations. I would bet we'll even see a millennial president within the next few cycles by 2032. This outlook for the future puts our current tone and positioning in stark contrast and has convinced me that we should shift the center of gravity in our messaging to be more focused on millennials. From a policy perspective, if boomers are still defining the policies right now, we should make sure we are setting ourselves up to win the debates over the next 5+ years and not just today. We want to be on the side of the future. From a marketing and comms perspective, this discussion also helps a question I've struggled with for some time. Who is our core demographic? I'm trying to build a service for everyone. It often feels like we're not focused on anyone in particular. But because our service is built primarily by millennials, there has been a clear evolution where as our employees and I age and have kids, for example, our products evolve and get better for people in their 30s with kids. So my bet, my thought, is that prior to a millennial president, a president who connects and uses the strategy, not of the boomers, but of the millennials, gets to win. Some of the greatest thinkers here are outlining exactly what's happening in the world. I spent a good amount of time with Brock to realize that this is one of the biggest leverage points that I can be a part of, help impact, and all of the good policies that Kennedy has. And so what that means is I just need to convince the campaign to listen to a very non-boomer blueprint that will cause a social movement. And when you awaken the youth, that alone can win the popular vote. But also I believe that the youth, more than we think, do control the mindsets of the boomers. That it's more of the problem that the youth doesn't speak to the political capabilities because it's always too, like, there's no salient person talking about, here's all the things we can solve in being a leader. It's always left, right, talking about the divisive things, focusing on dividing people. And that's where it's time to set in action this plan and basically get started tomorrow. Set up the camera, sit in front of it, say day one of showing off a submitted gift until our campaign reaches America's population with just a gift. That's 300 million. That's less than the billion. And when you type in Kennedy on Giphy right now, my GIF for Kennedy comes up number one. So do we want to be top for election? While I was at Brock's, I didn't realize why at the time, but now I think it's obvious. I purchased the TikTok handles at United States and at election. If we use those alone, this gives so much faith, trust, clout from millennials and Gen Z where they go, whoa, he's doing this differently. We can do it, you know? We can do it. We are independent thinkers. There's a gif of Brock saying that. You know, this gif of Brock saying happy birthday has 62 million views alone. There's my gif when you type in Kennedy. So I haven't pushed this hard enough. It's got millions of views, 22 million total, but I've barely gotten started. I think if we do hashtag we can win as a GIF, we'll rank it number one for win, winner, revolution, all the main terms, and we just tell the story. I'll fly out. I'll just be ground floor helping to push this. I've got connections to all the creators. They would love to kind of run this, I'm sure. We'll just try activating people to join the revolution, to also do their own videos of day one of trying to achieve their goals. We'll call this the revolution will not be televised. It will be memed. So I've got to summarize this up into a script itself. That's not even all the ideas. Polymarket, the largest prediction website, where, as we know, our prediction of the future creates the future. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. As Kennedy, for the popular vote, at a less than 1% chance of winning. But to buy him up to 20% will only cost $30,000. And it's a good investment because once we start this program, more people are going to be buying in. For the presidential election winner, Kennedy's at 2%. That's mainly because, well, even Newsom's at 2%. The guy who's not even in the running. Michelle Obama's at 4%. Michelle Obama has a higher chance. But again, to buy this up to a 49% chance of winning is $32,000. This is where there is currently total $236 million bet on here. But most of that is bet at these super end things. 610,000 of it is at the 99.9% price mark. I think people get rewards for adding liquidity, so they just add it to the this will never reach kind of mark. And you know what? All we need is the initial belief, to believe that we can win, to make the video summarizing how we will win. And I guess that's up to me first, is to condense these ideas, make a little script, and to just rip it, to give the campaign team and Kennedy himself the belief that they can win with this campaign strategy, and then help the world believe, help the nation believe. And they will, because no one's ever even tried this. Connect with the creator economy. It's obvious. Right now, there's no movement. It's random segmented videos being posted, not even that viral. Why is a kid who started posting from his parents' basement more viral than your entire fucking campaign, which has millions of dollars to spend? I don't even know how much has been spent. Think about that. Obviously, there's a problem. But obviously, all the ingredients are here in order to actually say and make happen winning. So let's fucking win. Thank you.